So last year was really like my year of enlightenment. I really started diving into this stuff. And that's how I discovered like you and David from How To Beast. Like you guys were probably like the first guys I really discovered on YouTube. And so I was just curious, after spending this whole last year just devouring books and studying people's approaches, people's philosophies, their game, all that stuff. I know, and you mentioned it in the book a little bit too, that you joined a group of guys in Boston to learn this stuff. But have you ever like read any books or followed any other guys in this space, or did you just learn this all on your own with your boys in Boston?
I mean, I think I had an interest in it back when I was in like as early as high school, man. I remember in like junior year when I was working a summer job, I convinced my dad to get me some David D'Angelo tapes. Like, remember those cocky? I don't know if you ever know about who he is, but he was way back in the day. He used to run a thing called Double Your Dating, and
Yes.
I remember listening to some of those tapes while I was working on my summer job, and it kind of started planting the seed of like, oh, like maybe something is possible here, but it still kind of felt weird. Like it was just sort of this weird thing, like, oh, I'm going to go try to pick up girls. But once I started, once I hit 21 and started going out to Boston, that's when things really picked up. And before it was sort of theory going in my head, that's when I really started to apply the stuff that, I kind of had learned. And then obviously going out and just started sort of carving out my own experiences and learning from those as well. So that's kind of how it went down. But before that, like I watched a little bit of RSD back in the day as well. But yeah, I guess that's how it went down.
Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense. And I've seen a few of your recent TikToks too, where you tell guys like, look, some of these guys are just spewing out theory, but you actually have to go out and practice this stuff. I couldn't agree more. Because this podcast, I don't know if you're familiar with Corey Wayne. A lot of it is born from, Corey Wayne's book really is what sort of spawned this podcast. And he talks about reading his book like 10 to 15 times. And what I tell people is you can read that book 1,000 times, but if you're not going out there and trying the stuff out and seeing what works for you, it makes no difference.
Yeah, no, if you're sitting around theorizing like, oh, like if I try to use this pickup technique, then maybe it's going to work. It's like, man, you got to just go out there. Like I get guys commenting all the time on my TikToks, on my YouTube, like, no, man, you can't approach a girl like that because of like X reasons. Like, bro, there's no chance you've even gone out there and even tried it. So like, you shouldn't even be talking here, man. Right. Like if you're a guy going out taking action, you're not being a YouTube hater or a TikTok hater. It's just not how it's going down. So you need to go out there and take action. You should be maybe like 20, 30% reading, and taking in knowledge and like 70, 80% action. Otherwise, you're just going to get lost in the sauce of just all this information.
Yeah, I agree. I like how in the book you refer to those guys as jamokes.
yeah, man. I mean, if you really boil it down, man, most people are just jamokes. And when I say jamoke, I mean you're basically just like a cog who doesn't know how to think for himself. Right. If you look around the world, most guys are like that. You see a microcosm of it in like the nightclub environment. Most guys are just a jamoke standing in the corner, having drinks, never going to talking to the girls unless they're super drunk. Then you see it in business environments, most people being unreliable, not going for what they want. And it just kind of pervades everything, right? Like most people don't think for themselves.